Yo, what's up, everybody? Bazzing and Bama back. I came out here this morning to the little local lake to really just to do a little video, trying to see if I can get a early morning top water bite. I came out here yesterday. It was raining yesterday, and I came out here and cast around for a while. So I came back out here this morning trying to see if I could get a just get an early morning top water bite. But for some reason, I feel like this lake, fishing off the bank in this area right here, it's like you get more bites on top water in the afternoon. Cause I've caught two nice ones from the bank, right in the same location. But I decided to just go ahead on and finish out the recap of the Lake Mitchell tournament. So I'm gonna get that on out the way. First of all, everything I said about that tournament did not go the way I wanted. Like I said, I'm gonna go and get it out the way. I predicted first place to win with 10 pounds. First place ended up winning with 13 pounds, 12 ounces. Big fish on the co-angler side was a 4-pounder, which I said was gonna be about 3. It was some fish caught, and there was a lot of fish caught that day. I never expected it to be that way, the way the temp dropped. By time takeoff started, temperature were down in the low 30s. I'm talking about 30, 31 degrees with wind, but fish was caught. The guy that I was my boater, man, that dude knew that lake like the back of his hand. We sat down and talked about an hour on the boat, sitting in the cold, talking about his experience on that lake. The guy told me he was 59 years of age, and he's been fishing that lake ever since he was a little kid. He said he lived on that lake for 11 years, so he knew that lake. I'm talking about he knew it. And so when we got to our first spot, man, the guy knew so much about the lake. Like when we pulled up to spots to fish, he would tell me what worked best, and on every stop that we made, he would tell me what technique to use. The first spot we stopped, he said it was a Carolina rig location. So I picked up my Carolina rig, he picked up his Carolina rig. I made a few casts. Well, my second cast, I had one to hit. I was using got one. Got one on camera for y'all. Got one on camera for y'all. And it was a good one. And it's a good one. Come on back over here, big boy. Y'all hold on. We gotta lean down here and get this one. I don't have my net. Oh, gotta get up. Look at that, y'all. Oh man, I got one on camera for you all while I was out here doing a recap on a tournament on that spook. This the second one I caught on this same exact spook. I caught one the other day, a 3-pounder, and I caught one a couple weeks ago from the same location, a 6-pounder on the spook. Super Spook Junior. Super Spook Junior. And the Okie Shad. I got my scale in the car. Nice one. Let's get the weight on this one. I'll be right back. Yo, I'm back. Just got the scale out the car. Let's see what we got. £4, 10 ounces. 4 pounds, 10 ounces. Get ready to let this one go back. Look like it's gonna rain. Well, we're supposed to get rain, but I was hoping it hold out for a little while because I don't have my rain suit today. So we're gonna let this one go back. But like I said, man, me and the guy, we pulled up to the first spot. Let that plane pass over. Oh yeah, like I was saying, we pulled up to the first spot. Guy said, hey, this is a Carolina rig spot. So I picked up my Carolina rig setup. I was throwing a Strike King cutter worm. The color was Tequila Sunrise Orange Flakes. Second cast, I had one that hit it, but didn't take it. Could have been a bluegill, could have been anything hitting that worm, but so I was like, okay, cool, they biting, we know, that kind of, gave me a little motivation, like, okay, they moving, they gonna bite. But we didn't get a bite in that location, so we moved because he had already said if they wasn't biting, because if they was biting, they was gonna bite. It don't take 20, 30 minutes to get them fired up if they was gonna bite. And that was every location we pulled up at. I don't know if I mentioned in the first part of the video, but he did say we was like running and gunning. And then like the end of the day, we'll start slowing down to try to finish our limit out. So we moved to the next spot. Next spot we pull up on, the wind picked up. And before we even, like I said, we sat down and talked. And he asked me, he asked me, did I have a top water bait tied on? I said, yeah. He said, what kind? I said, I got a spook. Matter of fact, it was this same exact spook that I had tied on, and he was like, okay, cool. cause I got a spot. It's a spook spot. I said, okay, cool. So we pulled up on that spot. We both made cast with the spooks, but the wind was blowing so bad to, where we couldn't even put this the bait where we wanted to. It just was blowing the bait off blowing the bait away from where we was trying to cast at. So we end up leaving that spot kind of quick, which it was cool. And we started heading toward a seawall. And he told me on this seawall, he was like, hey, there's a shaky head spot. So I was okay, cool. By that time, I had picked up my drop shot. So I pitched a drop shot in front of down in the front of a dock. And I end up catching a little small largemouth that it didn't keep. So we made it to in front of this concrete seawall, and probably 3 casts in, man, he hit a spotted bass, 2.5 pounds. And I was like, whoa, here they go, they biting. And I put my drop shot down, and I said earlier, I don't really like fishing with this, I don't like to do what my boat are doing. So I picked up my shaky head, and to be honest, we had the same exact color because he had already showed me a color of bait that worked good in that lake that time of the year. It was a Zoom. It was a Zoom finesse worm, green pumpkin, blue flakes. I didn't have the finesse worm. I had the original trick worm in that same exact color, and I couldn't get a bite on that trick worm. And so I put my drop shot back up. By the time I picked the drop shot back up, he had caught a second one about the same size. So I just started throwing my drop shot, and before you know it, this guy got a third one. So by the time he was taking his third one off, I pitched that drop shot back in there, up on that seawall. Bam, I get one, 2 pounds, 7 ounces. And so we made another pass back down on front of that seawall. They weren't doing anything. He said, well, let's go to another spot. We ended up fishing a lot of different spots. I ended up getting a couple bites on the shaky head, but they would just bite. They wasn't taking the bait, so I don't really think those was bass. But we end up, fishing a lot of different spots, trying to get the story, make a long story short. He got his limit. I was stuck with this one fish like all day, pretty much, before I got another bite. So we went back to that seawall again. So I started fishing. I'm throwing that green pumpkin blue flake finesse worm. I got one of his, because I tried to cut one of my trick worm down to that size, but it's like it didn't have the action. And he asked me, he was like, hey man, you want one of these? You can use them. He said, I got plenty of those on here, man. He said, I got 5 packs laying here. He said, I got a total of 20 packs on this boat in this one color, because I know they bite this color out here on this lake. I said, yeah, let me get one, man. I got one, good dude. I'm talking about, he's a hell of a boater, man. I would fish with him any day. Not only that lake, any day. He know his stuff, so I got one of the finesse worm, put it on. First cast, I cast up against that seawall, and one just like they took the reel out of my hand. So I set the hook, not a hard hook set, because I'm fishing with with a spinning reel. So I'm finesse fish. So I don't do no hard hook sets on with my finesse setup. But I had it. I had this fish. This fish come up. I could see it come up to the surface. I could see this fish. I know this fish is pushing 3 pounds easily, if not 3, and my line popped. Oh man, I was so broke down, but I held my composure and I kept fishing the day. So I ended up with that one fish for 2 pounds, 7 ounces. And when my line broke, but going back to when my line broke, I already knew what it was, because I broke off with that shaky head earlier. And I was so in a rush to tie back up, and I didn't wet my knot or wet my line when I was clenching that knot down like I normally would, and that would cause my line to break. I know that what it was, because that leader was a fresh leader. I had just tied that leader on the night before. Well, not the night before, but a couple nights before we went out and fished. So I know my leader was fresh. That's the way I fish. That's the way I do. Anytime I just go out and do some hard fishing, I always make sure that my leader, I had to get up out this water, it's lightning. But yeah, before I go out and fish, I always make sure my leaders are fresh. So my leader line was fresh. I broke off, and I just made a bad mistake on tying that knot back quick, trying to make shortcuts just to get back in the water, and it cost me a fish. Like I said, my first fish, the one that I weighed in, was 2.7. The one that I lost, I'm gonna say 3. I seen the fish, it never came up and jumped, but it came up to the surface of the water, like it was getting ready to jump when the line snapped. And those spotted bass, man, those spotted bass fight. They fight hard. So I made a mistake and lost the fish. So I say that fish was 3 pounds. That would have gave me 5 pounds. If that fish was 3 pounds even, that would have gave me 5 pounds, 7 ounces. And that would have pushed me up the finish and higher than what I finished. I end up finishing 93. Not where I wanted to go, but I can't complain. I can only make, it's my fault on how everything went down, because the guy put me on fish. I just couldn't capitalize on the fish. Just like I was throwing the same color worm, different sizes. That that wasn't nothing that I didn't already know. We was throwing the same color worm. He was throwing a 4-inch version, I'm throwing a 6-inch version. They did not want that 6-inch version. They wanted a smaller profile bait, because soon as I switched to his size, I caught one on the first cast and it broke me off. And that just go to show, man, you fish, you gotta give them what they want. Sometimes you can what they force feed them, but you have to make them, you gotta give them what they want majority of the time. If you wanna catch fish, you are going to have to make some good, you got to make some on the water decisions. That's the only downfall of being a co-angler. You have to make the right decision when packing your bags, your gear to go out. But that guy, he did offer me to fish with one of with his baits, man. He was a good dude, man. I fished with a few of them that would say if you need some, you know, you welcome to it, or they offer you stuff, and some of them don't, which that's not their job. But like I said, overall, it was my fault. It was my fault. I didn't capitalize on this situation, that I had a boater that knew a body of water like that guy. And like I said, he was a good dude, all around good dude. I love to fish with him anytime. But that's the way it is, man. I ended up in 93 with 1 fish, 2 pounds, 7 ounces. And the only reason I did that, man, the way I ended like that, because it was a lot of people didn't catch a fish, and there was some people caught 1 fish that didn't weigh, wasn't that big. It was a couple people. I looked at the score, the weight, the charts, the weight charts. It was some people caught 2 fish and still didn't weigh more than I did, you know, more than what I did. So he put me on big fish, he put us on big fish, because he ended up with 5 fish for 11 pounds. He ended up cutting a check that day. So that was a good thing. Let me see. I don't want to forget nothing. Like I said, I finished in 93, but overall, I'm currently sitting in, I moved up from 76 up to 74. So I moved up 2 places in points. So I'm glad of that, because I thought I was gonna drop down, but I did move up 2 places. So now I just go back, you know, get prepared for the next tournament, and just go out and just fish, and just fish hard. We're gonna fish on a lake that I never fished on, but I'm gonna give it all I got. I'm gonna end this video. I'm still throwing that spook. I'm gonna show y'all this spook, man. I got several spooks. This is the Super Spook Junior. That's it. I'm gonna get into more details about spooks and a lot of different techniques that I use in the near future too. So y'all be on the lookout for those also. But like I said, I'm gonna end this video. I'm not gonna hold y'all up any longer. Like always, man, y'all continue to stay safe and stay blessed. And I'll catch you all next time.